Hey everyone, welcome back to the Miya's Finance Life. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that I know hits home for a lot of us: how to slash those unnecessary expenses and boost your wallet at the same time, especially in these wild 2025 times. Now, I'm not here to give you some cookie-cutter advice. I'm here to share real, everyday strategies that have worked for me and many other Americans who are tired of seeing their hard-earned money vanish on stuff they don't really need. With inflation having taken a wild ride the past couple of years and the economy trying to find its new normal, there's never been a better time to take control of our finances. Let's start by talking about spending habits. Over the past few years, a lot of us got hooked on the latest streaming services, subscription boxes, and all kinds of premium memberships that seem cool at first, but end up eating into our budgets without really adding that much value. According to recent data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics in 2025, nearly 40% of American households report that recurring subscription services are one of the top non-essential expenses they wish they could cut out without feeling like they're missing out. I mean, think about it. Do you really need that extra streaming service when you already have a solid lineup of movies and shows? And yet, so many of us subscribe to 5 or 6 different services just because we think missing out might leave us out of the loop. Now, let's talk about some of the key areas where many of us can trim the fat. First up is your entertainment spending. Look, I get it. Streaming platforms, gaming subscriptions, and even that monthly movie pass can be fun. But if you're paying for more than one streaming service, chances are you're not even using them all to their fullest potential. According to a survey done earlier this year by a leading consumer research firm, nearly 65% of users admitted they rarely use one or more of their subscriptions. So, ask yourself which ones are essential. If you're like me, you might decide that 1 or 2 high-quality services will do just fine, and the rest are just burning a hole in your pocket. Next, consider cutting back on your daily coffee runs or those fancy lattes you pick up on your way to work. I know, coffee is life, but studies have shown that if you brew your own cup at home, you could save upwards of $100 in a month. That's over $1,200 a year that can be redirected towards savings or investments. I've personally seen my bank balance get a nice little boost when I made the switch, and it's one of those small changes that add up over time. And hey, if you're missing the caffeine vibe, maybe invest in a cool coffee maker that gives you that barista feel at home. Another major area where unnecessary spending creeps in is our tech gadgets and the constant urge to upgrade. Every year, a new smartphone or gadget seems to be marketed as a must-have. But if your current phone is running just fine, why rush to replace it? It's a common trap that many of us fall into, and it's fueled by aggressive marketing campaigns and the allure of the latest and greatest. Data from Consumer Reports in early 2025 indicates that nearly 30% of Americans buy a new gadget within 18 months of their last purchase, even though their current devices are still perfectly functional. I always remind my viewers, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Hold off on those upgrades and use that extra cash to build an emergency fund or invest in something that offers a long-term return. Now, let's dive into something that might be even more eye-opening: the idea of cutting back on those non-essential lifestyle expenses that we often overlook. Think about dining out. Sure, grabbing a bite with friends or family can be a fun way to unwind, but if you're dining out 5 or 6 times a week, those costs can really add up. According to the Federal Reserve's latest report, Americans spent nearly 15% more on dining out in 2024 compared to previous years, and that trend is only expected to continue in 2025. It might sound drastic, but even simply reducing the frequency of eating out by 1 or 2 days a week could save you hundreds of dollars a month. And if you do choose to eat out, consider going to places that offer good deals or are more budget-friendly rather than splurging every single time. Now, let's take a moment to think about another big-ticket item: buying or upgrading your car. Many of us feel pressured by flashy marketing and the constant buzz about the newest models. But if your car is still running well and meeting your needs, is it really necessary to shell out a huge sum for a new ride? Recent consumer studies suggest that a significant number of Americans could save thousands of dollars by sticking with their current vehicle a bit longer instead of falling into the trap of premature upgrading. Besides, with more affordable alternatives like car sharing or improved public transportation options available in many cities, you might find that holding off on buying a new car is a smart financial move. For detailed analysis on car buying options, please check out my Buying a Car in 2025 Lease Vest Finance Viz Cash How to Save Money video. We also need to talk about impulse purchases. We all know that feeling when you see something shiny online or in a store and you just have to have it, even though it's not really on your shopping list. That impulse spending is one of the sneakiest ways our money disappears without us even noticing. One strategy that's really helped me is the 24-hour rule. If you see something you want, but it's not absolutely essential, wait a day and then decide if you really need it. More often than not, that initial impulse fades away, and you end up saving that money for something more meaningful later on. And speaking of savings, let's not forget about the little things that sometimes get overlooked, like energy bills. With energy costs fluctuating in 2025, it's a smart move to evaluate your home energy usage. Simple adjustments like switching to LED, installing a smart thermostat, or even just being more mindful about turning off lights when you leave a room can add up to a nice chunk of savings on your monthly bill. In fact, according to the Department of Energy, households that make these small changes can reduce their energy bills by up to 20% on average. It might not seem like a lot on a day-to-day basis, but when you think about it over a year, those savings are significant. I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great, but how do I actually make these changes without feeling like I'm giving up my lifestyle? And that's the key, my friends. It's all about balance. You don't have to cut out all the things you enjoy. It's more about being mindful of where your money is going and making intentional choices that support your long-term financial health. For example, instead of buying that extra streaming service, you might consider a family plan with a friend or even alternating months with someone you trust so that both of you can enjoy the service without paying full price. It's these little tweaks that can add up to major savings over time. I also want to touch on the psychological aspect of spending. There's a lot of pressure to keep up with trends and to have what everyone else seems to have. But remember, folks, social media is often just a highlight reel. Just because you see someone living their best life on Instagram doesn't mean you have to match it dollar for dollar. Prioritizing your financial well-being over keeping up appearances is one of the smartest decisions you can make. And hey, there's a whole community out there of people just like you and me who are taking charge of their finances and finding creative ways to cut costs without sacrificing quality of life. And remember, every change you make today sets the foundation for a brighter tomorrow. Whether it's saving a little bit here and there, or jumping into an opportunity that can transform your income, the power is in your hands. Let's empower ourselves with knowledge, stay data-driven, and make choices that not only benefit our wallets, but also enrich our lives. Our channel is dedicated to sharing and discussing financial knowledge and practical tips for everyday life. The data I present is based on real-time reports from relevant organizations online and is meant for reference only. Please make sure to adjust your decisions based on your specific location and personal circumstances. Alright, if you're with me so far, hit that like button, subscribe, and share your own tips on cutting down expenses in the comments below. In the next video, we'll switch strategies and explore some of the most exciting opportunities available right now for making extra money. See you in the next video!